Well, isn't this interesting? This is Cook's Cottage in Fitzroy Gardens in Melbourne. Now, this building has a very interesting history. It is the oldest building in Australia, built in 1755 by Captain Cook's parents. Now, I know what you're thinking. The math doesn't quite work out here. 1755, 1788. Well, let me tell you the story of this building. Let's go and explore.
This is a statue of Captain Cook inside the grounds of the cottage here, and unfortunately he's been subjected to vandalism a few times over the last 12 months, including last month when some people attempted to cut his head off. Now, this building is just not any ordinary building. It's actually Australia's oldest building, though it didn't start its life here. The cottage was originally built in 1755 in Great Ayton, a village in Yorkshire, England, by James and Grace Cook, the parents of the famous Captain James Cook. Here's where it gets interesting though. Captain Cook himself never actually lived in it, as he'd already left home by the time his parents built it. The story of how the cottage ended up in Melbourne is pretty fascinating. In 1933, a wealthy Australian businessman called Sir Russell Grimwade bought it for £800. The previous owner had actually turned down offers from the Americans because she wanted it to stay in Britain, but she was convinced to sell it to the Australians as it was still part of the British Empire. They took the whole thing apart brick by brick and packed it into 253 cases, with each brick carefully numbered like a jigsaw piece, and then it was shipped to Melbourne and rebuilt in the Fitzroy Gardens in 1934, where it still stands today. They even made sure to reconstruct it exactly as it was, right down to the ivy that's grew on its walls. Today you'll find the village in Fitzroy Gardens just a short walk from Melbourne CBD. It's a modest two-storey stone cottage that became part of Melbourne's most popular historical attractions. The cottage is surrounded by English gardens that help maintain the 18th century character, though it is now halfway around the world from its original location. It's a bit ironic, really, this Yorkshire cottage that Captain Cook never lived in becoming one of the most visited sites in Melbourne.